In this third and the final section of our lecture, tonsillectomy, we will discuss some post-tonsillectomy care. In this, we will discuss the care of the patient, which is done after the tonsillectomy is performed, which is post-operative care. And then also we will discuss some immediate complications of tonsillectomy and then some delayed complications of the tonsillectomy. So the post-operative care, immediate general care. For any surgical procedure, make sure it's important. Post-operative care is very important step of any surgical procedure, because if post-operative care is not done properly after the surgical procedure, then there are chances of infections, there are chances of if it's performed, if there are sutures present, there is chance of dehiscence of the wound or suture opening. So post-operative care is very, very important part of any surgical procedure that prevents the complications that can be associated with any surgery. So immediate general care of the patient is keep the patient in coma position until fully recovered from anesthesia. This is very important because general anesthesia is used for tonsillectomy, and this is the coma position. Patient is on the left side to prevent any inhalation or aspiration. When the patient is not fully conscious, they can do the inhalation, aspiration, and that can cause aspiration pneumonia and some other complications also. So keep the patient first step in the coma position until fully recovered from anesthesia. And lot of times it's important for the patient to stay in the operation theater with anesthesiologist close to the patient until they completely recover from the general anesthesia. That is required and recommended step. Then keep a watch on bleeding from the nose and mouth. If there is a lot of bleeding from the nose and mouth after the procedure, we should monitor the patient and then we should take the step to control the bleeding, because too much blood loss can have its own complication, and even the patient can go into shock if there is too much bleeding from the nose and the mouth. So special precautions about the bleeding after the surgery. Keep check on vital signs, pulse, respiration, and blood pressure. After general anesthesia, until the patient is fully conscious or recover from the anesthesia, it's important that the patient should be observed. If the pulse should be taken regularly, monitor regularly, same with the blood pressure and respiration. If there is any abnormality of pulse, blood pressure or respiration, we should again transfer the patient to the operation theater, look for any complication, look for any bleeding that can be present as a result of the procedure. So it's very important. All these steps should be observed until the patient is fully conscious. Lot of time the surgery itself is not a serious condition or is not of concern, but in a lot of conditions anesthesia is the one that cause a problem after the surgery or during the surgery, and lot of patients, when anesthesia is not given correctly, can have serious implications. So it's important. Diet and oral hygiene is also very, very important after the tonsillectomy. When patient fully recovered, then permitted to take liquids first, start on the liquids first, slowly progress on to the semi-solids and then solids. So after the patient is recovered, first begin with the liquids. Sucking of ice cubes give relief from pain. Lot of ENT wards or patients who have tonsillectomy performed, if you visit that ward, usually you will see patients sucking on ice cubes or they eat something. Once they are allowed to eat something, they usually eat ice creams or cold foods, so that stops the bleeding and helps in healing. So sucking on the ice cubes give relief from pain. Diet is gradually built from soft to solid. So we have liquid, then semi-solid, and then we go to the solid food. Because it's in the throat, usually it takes time until the patient resume the solid foods or solid diet, because it can cause pain, and sometimes also bleeding can also occur. Analgesics that can be used to reduce the pain. Pain locally in throat and referred to ear, we should prescribe analgesics on as needed basis. Relieved by analgesics like paracetamol, given half an hour before meal. So analgesics give half an hour before meal. Drugs like paracetamol are the preferred analgesics. Avoid aspirin and ibuprofen. Aspirin is a blood thinner. So patient who have already have bleeding or bleeding problem, they will have excess of bleeding as a result of the use of aspirin. So aspirin and ibuprofen should be avoided. Paracetamol or Tylenol is the treatment of or analgesic of choice. Some antibiotics orally or by injection for a week after the procedure is performed is recommended. Patient sent home 24 hours after operation unless some complication occurs. So send the patient home unless there is any complication with analgesics and antibiotic for at least a week, and then follow-up visit is given to look if the patient recovered completely or not, or whether they need some more antibiotics. Patient can resume the normal duties within 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is required for the healing or recovery. Now, the immediate complications that can occur after the tonsillectomy, we have some immediate complications and then we have some delayed complications after the procedure. Immediate complications are the primary hemorrhage. Hemorrhage can occur as a result of surgery. So during the recovery period, it's very important, pay attention, close observation to the bleeding from the mouth or nose. Should not be excess bleeding coming out from the mouth or the nose. So if there is, it means there is some complication and that needs to be corrected or paid attention to right away. Reactionary hemorrhage. So besides primary hemorrhage that is occurring as a result of the procedure, as a result of immediate complication of procedure, we have reactionary hemorrhage also. Injury to tonsillar pillars, uvula and soft palate can also, because we are working in that close proximity, so injuries can occur to all these surrounding tissues. injury to tongue or superior constrictor muscle. All these are immediate complications that are occurring as a result of the procedure, tonsillectomy. These complications can occur. Injury to teeth, aspiration of blood. That's why it's preferred to put the patient in the coma position until the patient is fully conscious, to avoid this aspiration of blood, because the blood is present in that area. There is raw surface area, so the raw surface area will bleed, and that, if the patient is unconscious, that can be aspirated and cause complications. Facial edema. Again, another complication, immediate, is facial edema or swelling of the face, should be looked for and immediately taken care of. Surgical emphysema, presence of air in the tissue can also occur as a result of injury to the tissues. Surgical emphysema can occur and there is crepitus or presence of the air. So all these are immediate complications of tonsillectomy. Some delayed complications of tonsillectomy. We have secondary hemorrhage. So 3 types of hemorrhage. We said primary hemorrhage during the surgery, then we have reactionary hemorrhage, and then secondary hemorrhage. Once there is complete recovery, healing occurs, then there is sometimes the secondary hemorrhage or bleeding can occur from the tissues, from some surrounding areas that can be injured process. So secondary hemorrhage can also occur as a result of late complication. Infection, very common complication of surgeries is infection. If the proper care is not done, proper post-operative care is not given, and antibiotic coverage is not given, or patient don't use the drugs on regular basis, infection can occur after any surgical procedure. So if the patient complains of fever and fatigue and pain and it's not going off, it means there is a likelihood of infection present and patient should be covered with antibiotics. Lung complications can occur as a result of aspiration, so we have lung complications. Scarring in soft palate and pillars. As a result of the injury, we said that immediate complication can be the injury to the tissues like soft palate, pillars, and when there is injury, naturally as the time goes by, they will have scarring of the pillars and the soft palate. That scarring can pose the delayed or late complication of tonsillectomy. So that is also possible. Tonsillar remnants. If tonsils are not removed completely or there are remnants of tonsils left behind, it can cause delayed complication. And again, those remnants can have tonsillitis, or they go under infection and they will have different present with fever and sore throat and all those complications that are associated with the normal complete tonsillar tissue. Remnants will go through the same complications. Then we have hypertrophy of lingual tonsil. That's another delayed complication. hypertrophy of the lingual tonsil, and that will now present the complications like obstruction and difficulty in breathing and swallowing. These are some delayed complications of tonsillectomy. So remember, even the simple surgical procedure like tonsillectomy, the another surgical simple procedure is like appendicectomy. These are considered the minor surgical procedures, and if the proper care and proper management is not given and patient is not properly managed, it can have complications, and sometimes serious complications can occur as a result of these procedures. So it's very important that we should handle the patient in the post-operative era very carefully and give the proper antibiotic coverage also to avoid any infections to occur or the complications that can occur as a result of those procedures. Next, secondary hemorrhage. What is secondary hemorrhage and how it occurs between the 5th to 10th post-operative day after the procedure? Now we label it as a secondary hemorrhage. It's not a primary hemorrhage which occurs during the or immediately after the surgical procedure. It's the hemorrhage that occurs 5th to 10th post-operative day. Sepsis and premature separation of membrane is the leading cause of secondary hemorrhage. Sepsis is very common as a result of infection. Sepsis occur, the tissues become soft, and there is separation of membrane causing secondary hemorrhage. Blood-stained sputum, but may be profuse. This hemorrhage may be just blood in the sputum, or it may be profuse heavy bleeding. Blood-stained sputum is very common after tonsillectomy because the procedure is performed in the neck. So after the tonsillectomy, usually patient comes with blood in the sputum for a while. So it's common, but if it's a profuse bleeding, then we can label it as a secondary hemorrhage. External carotid ligation is required. Lymphoid tissue left in plica triangularis near the lower pole of the tonsil later gets hypertrophied. So the tissue that is after the tonsillectomy that is left in the plica triangularis, these are all the tissues, they can hypertrophy later on and cause some problem. Therefore be removed during tonsillectomy. It's not recommended to leave any tissue because they can later on hypertrophy and cause problems. That concludes our topic of tonsillectomy. Thank you for watching sqadia.com.